these platforms. I mean, when I started building internet marketing in the 90s, 96, this is before Google, before Facebook, before, building a website. I mean, you had to teach yourself HTML coding, and you had to, everything was difficult. The audience was new. Nobody wanted to buy from anybody anything online. Back then, you had to sell over the phone. So you might have had an online presence, but people bought by calling your team. So you still had to have a call center and sell over the phone. Today, nobody wants to buy over the phone.
This episode is brought to you by ERC. Let me ask you a question. Did you have a business during the pandemic with 5 or more employees? If the answer is yes, you might be leaving money on the table. All you gotta do is go to ercbankroll.com and you can get your money. The best part about this, it only takes 5 minutes or less to see if you qualify. Go to ercbankroll.com and put in your name, email address, answer 2 questions, click on the submit button, and you're done. It's that simple. And get your money. So don't wait. Go to ERC Bankroll. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast. I'm your host, Lopez, so like and share this episode. P.S. and by the way, before I get started, I'd appreciate it if you leave me a 5-star review in iTunes. Love it or hate it, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your feedback. So with that being said, today I have another special guest. My special guest is the founder of marketingboost.com. He's helped business owners worldwide boost sales and scare their businesses tenfold through the use of incentive-based marketing. His philosophy is to stop giving discounts and build the value in your product and services that you have. He teaches entrepreneurs how to make more sales and market through the use of what he calls value add incentives versus giving discounts. He has a Facebook group of over 27,000 people. That's 27,000 business owners on Facebook, showing them how to make more sales and giving them advice on how to be successful in their business. My special guest is Marco Torres. Welcome to the show. So, where you from?
I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas. Grew up in Puerto Rico and live in Florida now, but so I'm Mexican descendants. So I'm the only Chicano Rican you're probably ever going to meet.
Yeah, that's rare. Yeah.
Most Mexicans don't end up growing up in Puerto Rico, so that's an oddity.
Yeah. So how'd you get into marketing? Because most people I meet, we don't go to school for it. It's very few. That's rare that I meet someone that actually went to college for marketing. So how'd you get started?
That's a great question, actually. I was in the restaurant and nightclub business back in Puerto Rico, and when I first got out of high school, I went to a college for a year and a half, and blew it off. Says college is not for me. I want to be an entrepreneur. And got into the restaurant business with my older brother, and we opened 5 restaurants in 5 years, and then went on to open a nightclub. And then I, got rid of all of that. I sold out. We sold our restaurants actually to Taco Bell when they came in. They wanted the locations we had in Puerto Rico, and moved to Florida. And I didn't want to have anything to do with the restaurant business anymore. I was totally burnt out on that, and got into sales. And I was in sales, and I realized, I'd rather make 1% on 1,000 salespeople's efforts than 100% of what I can do as a salesman. And I loved sales, and I've always loved sales. One thing most people don't, they're always afraid of being involved in sales, or don't like sales. They claim they don't realize we're all salesmen all the time if you're going to be successful at anything. Anyway, I realized I would rather be making 1% of 100 salespeople than 100% of my own sales efforts. And so I decided I want to be on the other side of the fence here. I want to be in marketing. And I started teaching myself that, and I've always been, you've got to, in my mind, I'm always coaching everybody who follows me is stay relevant, stay learning, stay coaching yourself on what's going on. And to me, marketing became the whole lot more fun part of the mix, because you're involved in sales and marketing. I would have to create the marketing campaigns and everything else, and then I'd have to go teach the salespeople to sell the leads that I was generating, because, of course, salespeople always say, "Oh, the sales leads, these leads suck." So you got to find ways to make sure you're teaching your salespeople to be able to properly sell the leads you're generating, and on and on and on. So my career has been involved in marketing now. I've probably generated over $1 billion in sales in my career from the marketing side since I got involved in marketing in the mid-'90s. I became an internet marketer in 1996.
So how was the restaurant business? Because at one point I thought about getting into that, but somebody told me, I don't think it's for you, bro. So how was that, the restaurant business? I know it's just going to restaurants. And I could imagine, I see all the missing, all the you got the waiters, you got the bartender, you got the people in the back. There's a lot of moving pieces. So I thought. A lot of moving pieces. At the beginning, I loved it. And for many years. And really, it was all I knew, right? I started at, 20 years old or whatever, 19, 20. And I loved it. There's a lot of work, and there's a lot of moving parts, as you're describing. And over the years, though, what burnt out on it for me was very low margins, and you've got to be very hands-on, because everybody wants to steal from you. You've got, it's in the industry, you realize that every time you hire a new employee, you can expect to lose a little bit of everything. If you're in a full-service restaurant and you hire a new employee, you can almost expect to lose 6 of all of your silverware, 6 sets of your glasses, 6 sets of plates and stuff. Yep. You're going to lose. Your staff is trying to take cash from the till if they can. And of course you're trying to hire the right people, but I'm just talking about in generalities here, and that if you're not watching your business, if you're not there hands-on all the freaking time, there's somebody taking steaks out the back door when they throw out the trash, from the kitchen. The dishwasher you hired is everybody's trying to, figuring you're making too much money and they feel like they deserve a piece of the pie. So it's just, and then your clients are trying to get over on you as well, and so you got to love people. You really have to love people being in the restaurant business. And I kind of, and I do love people, but the restaurant business almost burned me out completely on loving serving people. I started to really burn out on it and said, never again am I doing the restaurant business, so that I can. And now what I love about being an entrepreneur is one of the things I love about it is being able to choose my clients. And so in the marketing world that I'm in, I've fired clients before and said, we're not a good fit. We're not a good match. I don't want to work with you. You should find somebody else to, et cetera. And you can't quite do that in the restaurant business, but you can in others. So yeah. And then you go to the nightclub. Oh man, now that's a tough business.
That was a time of my life. It's
fun, and one side of it is fun, But the other side is like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's a young man's job too.
Yeah.
That was a young man. I was 23.
Yeah.
From 23 to 28, I owned a nightclub, and live bands, and flying into Fort Lauderdale to recruit the bands, bringing them down to Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, and setting them up on kind of a tour so that I could save money on reselling the band, so to speak, through the Caribbean. And I had live entertainment and the live bands, and the bar and the bartenders, and oh man, it was awesome. The clients, young guy, and you can only imagine the lifestyle that I had. And I made a lot of money with that nightclub too.
Oh, yeah. I heard about it.
But we would close at 7 a.m. and it was like, whoa, that's so again, that's why I say it's a young man's job, because after a while that can get old, dealing with the drunks and everything.
Yeah. So how was that transition from nightclubs to sales? What was the link in between?
When I moved to Florida with my family, by this time I had a wife and a couple of kid on the way, and get to Florida, and I'm like, I don't want to be in the restaurant business, and I didn't have a college career, and I'm like, didn't have a college degree rather, so I'm like, my options are, let's take a look at what pays the most. And then the more I studied it, salespeople can make as much as doctors and lawyers if you're good, and I figured, I can do that. And so I got into sales and realized I could, and again, it wasn't a natural thing. You had to learn, you had to study, I was a student of Zig Ziglar and every other, Brian Tracy, and you name it, every other business trainer, sales coach trainer on how to improve the process of discovery and making sure that, and overcoming objections and closing the sale. And so and those techniques, they still work today. There's updates in how people buy nowadays, but at the end of the day, it's can you make sure that they like and trust you, and if your product or service can actually fulfill or serve or solve a problem for your prospect, then you can feel confident in asking for the order and overcoming objections and not being afraid to overcome objections. Because if you truly believe that your product is going to solve your prospect's problem, and you have a solution, then you can ask for the order and believe in it and get it. So how did you even know that there was growing up, I didn't even know that there was such thing as a quote salesman, really. I mean, I of course I know people that work at like the appliance stores, like Sears back in the day, or places that they sell appliances, but I didn't know that there was a sales trainer. I didn't know that people actually got on planes and flew to teach people at corporate companies. I didn't even know that world even existed. Exactly right. Well, in my case, my dad, my mother and father had a sales background and had a very entrepreneurial, adventurous spirit. And when they moved us from Texas to Puerto Rico, my dad was offered a position, and he went. And we also were brought up. We were, never given any handouts. I was never given any allowance, And so I remember wanting a Schwinn bicycle, and my dad said, "Well, you can wait till Christmas, and maybe you'll get one, or you can start, find a way to earn money." And I'm like, "Well, how do I do that at 9 years old?" He said, "Well, you try getting a paper route." And so he guided me to get, subscribe to getting a paper route. Then he had to teach me how to run spreadsheets, because back then you had to build a paper route. You had to go door to door and sell subscriptions. Then you had to go back door to door and collect the money, because there was no online payments back then in order for people to make their monthly subscription payments to the newspaper. So I had to deliver the papers, sell the subscriptions, go back door to door to collect the money they owed me, make the payment to the newspaper, and keep my share. And it was like running a real business with spreadsheets and managing, so on. And by the time I was 12 years old, I had built the biggest paper route that the newspaper had ever seen. I was featured on the front page of the newspaper, and realized that, and my dad was feeding me books like, here, a young guy, 10 years old now, I'm reading How to Win Friends and Influence People by Napoleon Hill. He's giving me, you want to learn how to sell more subscriptions? Here's the first book from Zig Ziglar. And so the books I've read all through my life have always been, I've never really had any interest in reading anything other than self-help books that had to do with either teaching me sales skills, marketing skills, something that was always feeding my brain to get better at my craft versus, reading not, fiction or history or anything else. The majority of everything I've ever read has been self-help books, and I recommend others do the same.
Yeah.
Study try to emulate somebody else's success. Don't reinvent the wheel. If somebody else has got what you want, ask how did they get there? What did they do to get there? Did they write books on it? Read those books, follow them, and try to cheat on some of the processes. In other words, don't try to learn the hard way with all the falling down and having to get back up all the time. You want to try to skip some of the mistakes by following what others have done before you.
Yeah, that's good, man. You see, someone taught you early as a kid. Most of us, we don't get it at that age. I started learning when I was in the late 20s. So the earlier the better. That's what I always say.
Any parents out there, nowadays hard to get people to read anything, but reading, versus watching. But even if it's YouTube, get people watching the right stuff, and guide them to watch things that are going to help them improve their social skills on how to communicate, which is going to help them no matter what they do. Whether how to win friends and influence people, for example, Napoleon Hill, classic old book. And what did he do to write that book? He interviewed millionaires all over the country and wanted to follow them. And what he learned from them, he wrote the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So, of course, he ended up broke. But anyway.
Yeah, that came out. I heard about that like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Stuff does happen to all of us, so you got to try to stay ahead of that curve too.
Oh yeah, money's like a ball. It goes up and down. Because before I started making just a little bit of money, in my mind, I thought, hey, once I start making a whole lot of money, I'm set for life. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Everyone has some type of financial challenge, whether you're making a lot of money or a little bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of in a fantasy world. Yeah. So you've been around long enough to see the marketplace change from the 90s all the way up to now. So do you think it's easier today to start and start a business versus like the 90s and the way things used to be before social media?
I honestly believe today there's never been a better time to be an online or to be an entrepreneur in general, especially an online entrepreneur. Whether you're doing a brick and mortar or online business, the tools available, the softwares available are so affordable and so robust that building a business today, having the CRM platforms that, to be able to communicate with your clients via email, text message, voicemail broadcasting, the tools available to build a website, a sales funnel, these platforms. I mean, when I started building internet marketing in the 90s, 96, this is before Google, before Facebook, before, building a website. I mean, you had to teach yourself HTML coding, and you had to, everything was difficult. The audience was new. Nobody wanted to buy from anybody on anything online. Back then, you had to sell over the phone. So you might have had an online presence, but people bought by calling your team. So you still had to have a call center and sell over the phone. Today, nobody wants to buy over the phone. You better have an online, click and buy online. And so, but the tools are there. And of course, there's more competition than ever. Everybody's, working from home, and many people have all kinds of, side gigs or what have you. But you've also got the tools and the ability and the social media platforms to begin to build your audience, build your brand, market yourself in ways that never existed just a few years ago. So it's more accessible, not easy.
Yeah.
Most people starting a business will fail, but those have been the stats forever. Businesses that start, most fail in the first year. But that's been the same before the internet and now after. And so, but in today's world, if you dedicate yourself and and the other mistake too many business owners make is to try to do it all themselves. You're trying to do everything yourself. You want to be your own webmaster. You want to be your own everything. At the end of the day, if you're not building a team.
This episode is brought to you by ERC. Let me ask you a question. Did you have a business during the pandemic with 5 or more employees? If the answer is yes, you might be leaving money on the table. All you gotta do is go to ercbankroll.com and you can get your money. The best part about this, it only takes 5 minutes or less to see if you qualify. Go to ercbankroll.com and put in your name, email address, answer 2 questions, click on the submit button, and you're done. It's that simple. And get your money. So don't wait. Go to ERC Bankroll.
People that are smarter than you around you, and you're trying to do everything yourself. That means you're thinking small, and if you think small, you will stay small. So you want to be hiring people, which is so easy to do today as well, never was in the past. Today you can find people on Fiverr and so many other platforms that you can outsource some of your work. And anything you do over and over every day, you should be outsourcing that to a virtual assistant who can do that for you, so you can start thinking, looking at your business from 5,000 feet above, then 10,000, then 20,000, and what can you be doing next on strategy to grow your business, and not being bogged down with all of the daily details. So you need to outsource things so that you can keep focusing on how do I grow the business, not how do I work in my business.
Yeah, man, the possibilities are endless today, man. It wasn't just 20 years ago. It was hard to find help. Yeah. You had to actually physically go somewhere to find help. It wasn't. You just didn't have access like that. Just 20 years ago. And I always tell people, you're not gonna win at everything. Because a lot of people have the mindset like, hey, if whatever business I decide to do, or whatever job or whatever they decide to do, they act like it's supposed to be a home run every time. No, it doesn't work like that. All you can do is do your best, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, do you think building a brand today is much more important than the way it used to be?
Oh, absolutely. Today's world, people are, because of the easy access to information everywhere as well, people are going to look you up. People want to know about you, about your company, and there's a quick, easy Google search, and they're going to be able to, spot whether or not you've got reviews, or whether your last review was, 3 years ago. So you need to be building your brand. You need to be working on your brand. You need to be soliciting reviews. You need to be soliciting video testimonials, which is one of the things we did. That's how Marketing Boost was born. The whole business that I operate today, one of the businesses I'm most excited about is Marketing Boost. And that was built because we wanted more video testimonials for one of our travel websites. And We ended up generating now over 30,000 video testimonials for one of our travel websites alone, on more than any other travel site in the world. And it was, with this a process that we set up that I now teach members to do in the Marketing Boost community, where you can use incentives to help get video testimonials, which is what ended up happening with Marketing Boost.
So how do you, well, first off, what are incentives, just in case somebody doesn't know?
Well, that's a good question. Thanks. So Marketing Boost, what we do is we provide the wow, surprise, and delight factor. We provide travel incentives on a subscription model. So you join Marketing Boost, you pay a small subscription fee, and it gives you access to our amazing travel incentives that you can use to grow your business. So we provide complimentary hotel stays from 3 to 7 night stays in 130 destinations around the world, like Orlando, Las Vegas, 30 US destinations, places like 7 nights in Phuket, Thailand, 5 nights in Hawaii, 5 nights in Cancun, 4 nights in Cabo San Lucas, 5 nights in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. So we've got all these sexy, destinations that, as a subscriber to Marketing Boost, you can give these incentives to your clients to use them at trade shows, trade show giveaways, use them as your customer draw card to add value to whatever your call to action is. And we've had, dozens of case studies in nearly every industry out there, not just the travel space, but any industry that, people love to travel, and offering a travel incentive as part of your reason to do business with you, or as a reason to download your PDF, or as a reason to book an appointment with you, like give them a $200 hotel. Oh, I forgot to mention, we have 3 categories of incentives: the complimentary hotel stays, restaurant savings vouchers, and hotel savings cards. And they come in increments of $1, $2, $3, and $500. So, you can use a hotel savings card, for example, to say, hey, book a no obligation Zoom call with me to learn about my business coaching, or to learn about solar, get a solar installation, or learn about, remodeling your kitchen, or whatever business you're in. You can say, book a no obligation Zoom call, get a free quote, and if you show up on time for the Zoom call, I'm going to reward you with a $200 hotel savings card, good at over 1 million hotels. So now the incentive helps you book more appointments, and solves another problem, helps more people actually show up on time for that appointment they booked. So you eliminate those no-shows that your sales staff is always, or you or your sales team end up with nobody to talk to because somebody didn't show up. So these rewards help people show up on time. If you're speaking to more people, you're closing more sales. So those are just some examples of how the Marketing Boost incentives can be used to acquire more leads, close more sales, etc. And a lot of businesses out there, you don't mind me keep on going, Lopez. Yeah. One of the things business owners don't even realize, they're like, how would I use incentives? I don't get it. Or they don't even understand what I mean by an incentive. Okay, obviously I talked about the travel, but here's an incentive everybody will recognize. We all bought into Amazon Prime. Almost all of us did, right? Why? When he launched Amazon Prime, Jeff Bezos, one of the most successful businesses in the world, he launched it, 10, 12 years ago. Back when he launched it, people weren't even into streaming video. But what did we want? The incentive was free shipping. Pay $99 a year and get the bonus. The incentive was free shipping. Then you found out, oh, by the way, they have videos and all this other content we can learn to stream, which was new back then. Today it's, we all stream video. But the point being was we wanted that free shipping, and then now he built the biggest, most loyal community in the world of everybody shopping on Amazon. McDonald's is another example. They've got the Happy Meal. They get parents pulling into McDonald's over other fast foods so they can get the burger, the soda, the snack, and the free toy in the Happy Meal. And they generate billions of additional revenue every year because parents are selecting McDonald's over others thanks to the Happy Meal. And so what is your Happy Meal? That's what Marketing Boost provides, just to not for give another little plug to my company. But we help provide business owners with the adult Happy Meal, something that can help you take your clients, take their eye off of focusing on the price, and instead focusing on your prize and your benefit, your value stack. And we really strongly recommend people don't discount add value, and there's a whole lot more ways than one than just using incentives. But work on adding more value versus discounting, so you're not giving away your profit lines, and you can grow your business successfully.
Great. So I know you meet people all the time, and they'll say, "Hey, Marco, hey, I got this product. How do I want to get it out there? I mean, how do I sell it? What do you say to them?"
Well, that's a good question. In other words, if you got a product, you want to sell it. You need some test clients. You need to build some credibility around it. Give it, you sell it at the beginning. You might need to give some of certain clients a discounted price out of the gate, because you need to build that social proof. So even if it's offering it free at the beginning as part of your cost of doing business, you may have to do that, because you need to have people vouching for you. You need to build that brand. You need to show that you're the authority and the expert. And it's going to be harder to sell something if you can't show that others have used it. And nobody wants to be the first one to jump in the pool and see if it's too cold or not. So when the pool's full of people and you're not afraid to jump in. So you want to have some people that have used your product and service, giving you some. You've solicited some reviews and some visual, some testimonials. And of course, not everybody believes all the testimonials, and that's why I even strongly recommend you want to try to get video reviews, because it's hard to lie on video. I mean, it's hard to get, you can't post your own fake video reviews. So, so that's one of the strategies I would say out of the gate is do what you got to do to get a number of your first clients down, offering it, even as offering your product or service to test it in real world, and then you can start putting a price on it and seeing what people are willing to pay for it, etc.
So who's your ideal prospect? Who are some businesses that you usually work with?
Well, our company, we work with thousands of entrepreneurs around the globe. Our Facebook group alone has over 30,000 entrepreneurs in the Marketing Boost Facebook group. And they are literally all types of, mostly small business owners, 10 employees or less. They are everything from multi-level marketing companies, insurance agents, realtors, mortgage brokers, online business coaches. We've got everything from, then we do have brick and mortar businesses, photographers, wedding photographers. We've got obviously hundreds of travel agents that use our service. We've got authors, book writers. I mean, you name it. It's really everything. I've got companies, home improvement companies, solar companies. Because anybody that's trying to essentially meet and B2C or B2B industries, we have found that these travel incentives can work very effectively to do anything from getting more appointments booked, getting people to show up, closing more sales right online with adding the additional value in your sales funnel and your value stack. I've had people. Everything from windshield. One guy generated over $1 million in additional revenue. His company is a windshield replacement and repair company. And what they do, they were in the habit of having to give people cash rebates to compete with everybody else in their marketplaces. And they still do that. So they offer a cash rebate if you select them versus somebody else, because most of the areas they work, the insurance company actually pays for the windshield, for cracked windshield. And so they'd offer a cash rebate if you go with them, and then their installers were trained to offer the client, instead of a cash rebate, to accept a complimentary hotel stay for 5 nights in Cancun or 3 nights in Las Vegas instead of $150 cash. And they ended up keeping that cash in-house. And now they know they've kept over $1 million in cash that they normally would have given out in the form of checks to their clients. They've kept that money and instead handed them one of our complimentary hotel stays that didn't only cost them $37 a month. Our membership, by the way, is only $37 a month, and it gives you the ability to give away all these incentives. And there's no timeshare presentations, no hoops to jump through, we make it easy. And we're not the only ones in the travel incentive business, but we totally revolutionized the industry and made it easy to use and a win-win-win for everybody.
That's great, man. So if people wanted to work with you, where would they go to?
Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, just go to marketingboost.com and you can sign up. Actually, right now, for your listeners, you can sign up for free with no credit card required. And you can actually get access to a few of our destinations with no credit card required. So you can give yourself one to test it out, and you can begin to give away some of our complimentary hotel stays, or you can sign up for our paid versions as well, where you get everything. So, but at least you can, if you'd like, you can go give it a trial with no credit card required and sign up with marketingboost.com.
There you have it. Like, share this episode. All links will be found in the show notes. Until next time, we're out. Peace.